fifth graders, it's Mrs. Tremblay, and today our job is to get ready for your Chapter 3 test by creating our foldables. So if you don't have the foldable paper, it's attached to this assignment. You'll want to print out both sheets, and then your sheets that are attached don't have numbers on them. If you got them from class, they do. So the one that starts with ways of living of different groups of people should have a number 1, and you'll number it all the way down to number 12. And then the sheet that starts with which region, flat bottom canoes, would be number 13, and you'll number all that all the way down to 22. So go ahead and take care of that now. You can pause me if you need to. And as you know, our first step is to fold them hot dog, words facing out, and then open it back up and cut on the dashed line to the center. So I will do mine, you do yours. You can go ahead and do both of them right now. And please remember, this isn't like in class where you can't pause me. You can pause me. So if I do this too fast, you can pause me. If I do this too slow, then you can fast forward me. It's just fine. I'll have no idea. You probably just wish you could do it in class. All right, and then don't forget, you should be studying that map. I gave you a purple map in a sheet protector. And on one side, I have empty boxes with a list of the names of the 7 cultural regions. You should be able to list all of those out. And then on the back side of that are the answers so that you can check your work. So you should be doing that. I gave that map to you, I think, on Monday. So you have a whole week to learn all 7 of those locations. And on your test, you won't have notes for those, right? You have a part 1 and a part 2. On that first part, you don't get to use your notes. You're just labeling the map. On the second part, this is your last one, where you will go ahead and be able to use your notes packet, not your foldable. And our next test that we take, I'll be taking away the notes. Dun, dun, dun. I think you'll be just fine. If you're wondering what that sound is, it's my dog drinking her water. She gets thirsty when I make videos, apparently. Okay, so for number 1, we have ways of living of different groups of people. Open up that flat for number 1 and put a number 1. That would be culture. Apparently she's really thirsty today. All right, so culture. And again, you can pause if you need more time to write that word. Number 2, a narrow, deep valley with steep sides. That is a gorge. So open up number 2 and you're gonna write gorge. Still drinking water over there. It's not me, I promise. All right, number 3, a flat-topped hill area with 3 sides. That's a mesa. So for number 3, mesa, M-E-S-A. Number 4, areas of the world where people develop similar ways of life. Those are all those 7 things on the map we were talking about. It's a cultural region. Cultural region. Okay, moving right along. Number 5, moving from place to place, often with changes of seasons. That is called being nomadic. So number 5, nomadic, N-O-M-A-D-I-C. Okay, next, objects made by a group of humans. Those are the things that they left behind we've been talking through. Artifacts. I think I spelled that one wrong. F-A-C-T-S. Okay, I'm just gonna scribble this out. I think I was distracted by my dog. I'll blame it on Millie. Artifacts. Hopefully yours isn't all scribbled out. You were using a pencil. Unlike me, I have to use a pen because I want it to be dark enough for you to see. Okay, now we're gonna play a little game called Which Region? So you have to tell me which region this comes from. On your test, I'm basically gonna have like all of the items listed out, and you're gonna have to match it up to which region it belongs to. So you won't have to just write it down, you'll have to be able to match it. So which region had the baskets woven from grasses? That was the California Intermountain. So open it up. California Intermountain. Okay. Now, the region that had clay pots. The region that had clay pots for number 8 was the Southwest. Southwest. So down, left. Which region had the cool underground homes because they were trying to adapt to the cold environment in the wintertime? That would be the plateau. So number 9, the plateau region. Right. Which region had teepees made from buffalo hides? Buffalo is super important to this region. That would be the Great Plains for number 10. Great Plains. Okay. And which region was identified as having the totem poles? For number 11, that was the Northwest. Northwest. That's an E, in case you're wondering. Okay, now I know there are a couple regions that had canoes, but the ones that were made from tree bark, not the flat-bottomed ones, but the tree bark canoes, that was the Eastern Woodlands. So for number 12, we're gonna write Eastern Woodlands. That's where we are. Eastern Woodlands. And we're done with our first half. Now, time for the second half. So put that aside. Okay, now we're at the flat-bottomed canoes. That's one we just talked about. That is the southeast. So for number 13, you want to have southeast had the flat-bottomed canoes. Which region had the adobe bricks? It's the same as the clay pots, the southwest. So close that up. Number 14 is southwest. All right, which region is Michigan found in? We just said that. That's the Eastern Woodlands. So open up 15. Eastern Woodlands. Makes sense because we have a lot of forests, right? Okay, number 16, what were those homes that were built on wooden platforms 3 feet above the ground called? I think it's my favorite vocabulary word of all. Chickies. Number 16. Chickies. And in that same region, we had the Seminole tribe. Why did they wear the deer hide leggings, even though they were in the southeast and it was pretty warm and muggy? They wore them for protection. That's why. So protection from 2 things, from sharp grasses and bugs. The same reason I like to wear pants to a bonfire, right? You don't want your legs to get bitten up by mosquitoes. Okay, number 18. What is an apartment building made of stone and adobe called? That is a pueblo. So number 18, Pueblo. Right, we're almost there. Number 19, which region did natives grow crops like corn, beans, and squash? So which one was that? That was the southwest. So 19, southwest. Number 20, which region made the most use of buffalo hides? We talked a little bit about that before. That would be the Great Plains. So for number 20, Great Plains. 21, which region was home to many forests and animals such as bears, wolves, deer, elk, and mountain goats? That was one of the first ones we talked about. That was the Northwest Coast. So the Northwest Coastal region. Okay, now number 22 on your test is actually gonna be your constructed response. I guess I'm going to make you write a little bit. It says, describe one way in which the Native Americans living in the Eastern Woodlands region adapted to their environment. So you have to kind of picture the Eastern Woodlands, and I picked that one because you can relate probably most to it because Michigan's there. So you know what the weather's like in Michigan, you know some of the resources we have in Michigan. What are some ways that the Native Americans in this region adapted to their environment? Now you're only gonna have to list one way, but basically, their adaptations are kind of listed in their artifacts, and think about what they left behind. So their clothing, what was it made from? Deer hide clothing. So they used their natural resources. That was one way to adapt. And they made clothing from deer hide. So that's one thing you could say, but you'd want to not say it as a bullet point. You'd want to use a complete sentence. They also, their homes, they built wigwams. And they used materials from the forest, because that's what they had. They built wigwams from forest materials. And there's one other thing. I think I'm just going to scooch it over and write it over here. Remember, they traveled and wanted to be able to carry their canoes, right? To go from place to place. They don't have a trailer like my husband has to hook his boat up to. So they built fast, lightweight canoes, or so we can just say fast, light canoes. And they made those from tree bark, because that's what they had. So basically with their adaptations, you're seeing them use their natural resources to make things that help them to be successful in their environment. All right, that's all the stuff you're gonna need to know for your test next week. So at this point, you should take these and quiz yourself. So ways of living of different groups of people. Let's see, I think that's culture. So you open it up, oh, I'm right, yay. So go ahead, study it up, and I'll see you soon.